welcome back to my channel. This video is all about my kitchen essentials. Now it's about the equipment rather than the ingredients. Ingredients, I use butter, eggs, flour, sugar. You don't really need more in life. But the equipment are the things that are quite specific and a lot of you ask about it. So I thought I'd put this video up to help you understand what I use, and also if you're interested in making a baking business yourself or getting really serious about it, then I'd highly recommend investing in a few of these because they really are lifesavers. So it's just a quick run through, and I'm going to start off with actually making things first. So I always go on about my stand mixers. I've got quite a few different sizes. Now the stand mixer really saves time, saves energy. You can do other things at the same time as it being on. So I know they can be costly, but there are some lower priced ones out there. So do your research. And in regards to the attachments, I prefer the whisk attachment. I think I use this a lot more by making meringues and all my buttercream as well. Although the other one I use a lot is the beater. And I use this to make my cake batters and some icings too. So there is my stand mixer. Also with baking, one of these is extremely helpful. It's not just a spatula, it's actually a heat-proof spatula. So you can use it to caramelize sugar even. So there's no temperature limit on this. And it's given away by the red handle. And it does usually say what temperature it can be used up to, but it's usually like 250 degrees. And I don't think I'll be using any temperatures more than that. Really helpful. Better than wooden spoons. I actually never use a wooden spoon, so I don't really know where that whole cliche wooden spoon in the kitchen comes from, because I literally never touch it. I always use these, and the best part of this is that when you're scraping around a bowl, you get every single last bit. Even this bit here catches the very lip of a bowl. So a flexible, heat-proof spatula. If anything, 2 of them is a must-have in my kitchen. I've got about 5. So next, this sounds really simple, but a good pair of kitchen scissors. Cutting baking paper, cutting into cake boards, trimming things, and these ones especially you can trim tiny amounts with, such as flower stems, or large amounts, such as cardboard. So a good pair of scissors can take you a long way. So you're probably thinking what these things are. They're both thermometers, they're just slightly different. This is an infrared thermometer. So I actually use this mainly to check my fridge temperatures in the morning, because you must do that if you own a cake business. Everything has to be registered and at the correct temperature. So this is really useful. Also, if you're checking produce that's coming in from a supplier, you can just beep that and it will tell you the temperature, and it's really hot in here today. This one is actually the one that I use to measure sugar, because it's got this external rod going into it, and that's a lot more precise. And again, they're both digital. I prefer the digital ones. Saying that, you have to make sure that they're calibrated. So if you're not convinced that your digital thermometer is working properly, get some boiling water. Boiling water is 100 degrees, and test it. And if it's reading 200, you know there's something wrong. If it's 101, I think it could just about pass. So when it comes to actually making the cakes, I don't use a cake wire. I don't see the need in it. I can cut very straight, and I've actually shown on my other videos how you cut straight, so I don't need to be investing in that. I just need a good serrated knife. Now, just a word of warning, these are very sharp. I nearly lost a finger due to one of these, so just really be careful. But once you're confident enough and careful enough, they give beautifully clean edges to cakes. And of course, a flatter cake results in a more even cake, and everyone's happy. Another knife I absolutely love is this small kind of curved paring knife. A paring knife are ones with short blades like this, but this one's slightly sloped, and it's amazing to get vanilla pods out. I don't even know where you would get them from. I got given it as part of my college knife kit. So curved little knife. Maybe Google it and see where you can get it from. When it comes to palette knives, everyone has their own preference, and I love a mini one. I find it a lot easier to control. You get ones which are about this length or this length even, but the small step palette knife, notice there's a step, is just so much easier for me to use. Each to their own, to be honest. The reason why it's step rather than straight is so you don't ruin your cake. So when you're icing a cake like this, your handle doesn't get in the way. So step palette knife is a must. We have lovely cake boards here. I can't remember the last time I made a cake without one. Again, I go through a lot of these, so I always buy in bulk, but they come in all different shapes and sizes. Now they are different to cake drums. A lot of people ask me, do I use cake drums, which basically these, but a lot thicker. I don't like the look of them, which is why I don't use them. But these are slightly thinner, so slight movement in there, but it's okay for a single tier cake. Now, if I'm transporting a large wedding cake, I would put it on a cake drum, because I don't want the cake to bend or anything. But just normal regular tiered cakes, single tier cakes even, I always use a cake card. And it is sitting on my lovely turntable. Now, a turntable, again, is just 10 times easier to ice cakes with. Rotate it without turning the cake itself. So I don't actually know how you would decorate a cake without one. So if you're going to choose any of this, I would definitely recommend one of these. If you don't have a turntable, you can get a bowl and turn it upside down, put a wet cloth on top, and try and balance the cake on there, as long as it's a flat bottomed bowl, obviously. But I would just get one of these, really. My next essential is my sugar syrup soaker. Now, in my other video of sugar syrup, I make my own soaker out of a plastic bottle and poke holes in. But I actually found this genius little device which has holes in the top and does it for me, so I don't have to go and buy, not that I do, but I don't have to go and buy or look out for plastic bottles to make them. And this is reusable and really handy. So it's also an egg washer if you're doing pastries, but just fill that with sugar syrup and then you're kind of spraying and brushing at the same time. When you're building up a cake, once you've got all the cake layers in, you want to scrape your sides nice and straight using one of these. These are cake scrapers. Now, as you can see, I've got two different sizes. I do use this shorter one a lot more than this one, but if I'm doing an extra tall cake, then this is the answer. Obviously, the taller they are, the more difficult they are to use. So get used to a small one first before you go on to an extra large one. But this is really to smooth out that icing and give it a lovely finished effect. Now, I know we all have to be conscious of the plastic we're using, but unfortunately, I can't live without piping bags. Now, these are disposable ones. I do have a reusable one, but I find that they just don't clean properly, and I'd rather choose hygiene over wasting a little bit of plastic. Sorry. I usually use this size piping bag. Like I said, I make a lot of buttercream in my large mixer, and it doesn't actually fit all of it. That's how much buttercream I make, but it's really good size for lots and lots of cakes. You get rolls of these of about 100, so they do last a while, and where I can reuse it, I will. So for example, if I finish the buttercream and I'm filling up more buttercream, I won't use a new one, I'll use the same. So I use these for more intricate details, so such as macarons. If I'm doing a lot of different colours, I'll use maybe 3 or 4 of these rather than one big one. Or if I'm doing some cupcakes, or I only have a little bit of icing or finishing off the cake, these are the ones that I use. And with the piping bags come the piping nozzles. Now, there are so many piping nozzles in the world. So the trusty Wilton 1M gives a beautiful cupcake decoration, really simple to use and really effective. Then another star nozzle such as the 4B of Wilton or the PME 13, and I like to use these as the finishing touches on my cake. Just little dabs here and there or little swirls make such a difference, and they just come out really nicely. So again, I use these with the smaller piping bags. And finally, to get the little pieces of gold leaf or gold dust on my cakes, I have a food safe paintbrush. Now firstly, make sure it's food safe because you don't want the bristles going into your food. And I've got a few various sizes of these, but this very small one is perfect to put on those finishing touches of gold leaf, and you can feel like a real artist. So there you have my kitchen essentials. Like I said, a lot of things I buy online because I buy them in bulk, such as the cake boards and the piping bags. But out of all of these, I'd probably recommend the stand mixer, the thermometers, and the heat-proof spatula the most, just because you can't make things without these three, such as macarons and caramel and meringue and my buttercream. So pretty much anything. And you can kind of make do with maybe what you have at home anyway, but if you're going to invest in something, make sure it's one of these. I hope you found it informative. If you have any requests for any other videos, then please write them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video as well. And if you haven't, check me out on Instagram at George's Cakes. I put up lots of photos of my cakes on there, and I'll be doing lots more videos soon, so stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.